And now, stand and cheer for your Talking Basketball podcast.
Hello, welcome to another edition of the Talking Basketball podcast. I am Mark.
I am a quiet Paul.
A very quiet Paul today.
In the northern studio.
In your northern studio, where you are not allowed to awake
sleep.
the sleeping beasts.
Yes.
If you do hear
Hello.
something terrible happen to Paul on air, that's because he's woken someone up.
You'll see it.
So, what we got this week then, Paul?
We're back into the BBL.
The BBL.
But before I go
The
any
Basketball
further,
League of Britishness.
Mark, I've sent an image to you.
Yes.
Chuck that on social media. That is my gift to all the listeners of the podcast. It's you got these Talking Basketball podcast stickers, and I kind of try to mimic putting one on a basketball court floor. And well, it's my screensaver. I think it looks pretty cool. So I think share it, and that is my gift to our 30,000 listeners.
I'm trying to work out if that's
30 days.
your kitchen or your bathroom.
Let's just say it's a basketball court and leave it there.
That's the basketball court, yeah. That is the Talking Basketball court. There you go.
Yes.
There's the dream.
Yeah.
Have a court in the
There it
studio
is.
one day. Yeah, we'll share that out for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I think they'll like it.
we have week 13 of the BBL. It's been a busy week.
Has it?
Yeah.
My brain is switching off. It is switching off.
Someone's in
I'm going
holiday
mode. Yeah, I'm in holiday mode. But yes. So yeah, it's been all right.
Week
It's been all
13.
right. I mean,
It's funny
you've
that,
got
isn't
a
it?
few games.
Just looking at that, week 13. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Where's that gone?
some of the teams are approaching the halfway mark. Others are a little bit further down the road.
Right. Who's going this year? Who's going first?
This year,
Yeah, I know. I'll let it in.
you're tired as well.
Tired of waiting for you.
I don't mind. I've got 3 games here, so I don't mind which one you want me to do.
Just pick one.
I've kind of got 2 that go together. So
Well, do you know what? We're going to
maybe you go first.
we'll do
You
it
go
in the
first.
order that they came through. Simple as that. So the order they've been played in the week. Well, how about we do that? Yeah?
All right.
Right. So the first one is Manchester Giants versus the Scorchers. And this was home in Manchester. Long story short, Manchester won the game. They stole it from the
Nice.
Scorchers. Yeah. It was actually quite... It looked at one point, he thought, this is a really tight game. And the Scorchers were like 9 down at the half. But the deficit like increased to 11, then came back to sort of, I think they were tied at the end of the third, 61-61. Yeah, I wrote it down. So they literally got right back into it again. It was a really, really good game. And I thought, the Scorchers going to like nip this here. But they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't quite get it. So the Giants got their win. And I know you got a soft spot for the Giants. But, you know, Giants getting their win in their home stadium, it's got to be a good feeling for them. And it's really interesting because when you look at the Giants and the actual Scorchers, they are 8th and 9th in the league. So they are like, they're kind of like little in-league rivalry. Like, we want to win here. So that gets them within 1 win of switching places now, I think. But there was, I'm not going to say a highlight. There was an air ball that just went horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. And I've got to highlight that as a guy called Anderson. Threw that up. It was like, I'm not sure what you...
Jalen.
Wow.
Jalen.
Yeah, it's one of those shots that you think...
He's a potential all-star, mate.
It was when you go, that's the wrong shot. And then it got even worse because then one of their other players, Wang, went up for he went for a 3. Now, I would not have done that. And this is on the Scorchers team. He went up for that three, and I really wouldn't have done that because they actually had if you watch it back through, he had a perfect drive. He could have gone and got the really secure two there. No. Let's go for the glory. It was an error, and he missed that. They went up the other end. They scored.
Even the greats miss, Mark. Even the greats miss.
No,
Look
do
at
you know
Halliburton.
what?
He threw up 2 air balls in 1 quarter.
Yeah,
in the NBA Cup
I'm calling
final.
that. He made the wrong shot selection there. He went for the...
Wow.
I think he went for the hero ball moment, and he actually should have gone for... because they were at that point of... It was such a close game. You've got to make those right decisions, and he clearly made the wrong one. But I also want to highlight one other player in that game, which was William Lee. That's someone that you mentioned who'd been off of the season for a while and come back in. Missed 2 free throws.
Free throws win games, Mark.
They do. And, you know, the Giants...
What was the score in this game?
87-85. So the Giants won only by 2 points. But he missed those free throws right towards the end when the Giants were, like, holding on. They were on their victory, but they were holding on, and you think, that's not a time you can afford to miss free throws here. So I just want to highlight that because we've mentioned with some other players, I won't say we named and shamed them, but in the previous episodes, free throws seems to be maybe an error or maybe an area where we can improve in the BBL, because there's a lot of people getting 1 for 2, going 1 for 5 on free throws and having really low percentages, but to miss both.
There's pressure as well. I know what you're saying, but there is pressure.
Of course
when
there
you're
is.
in a BBL game and
if you're missing a free throw at the beginning
30
of the
seconds
game,
left, whatever it was, it's
like you can miss a shot at any point during the game. That's fair enough. But free throws, there's no point in the game where a free throw isn't a pressure shot. They all should matter and they should all count. Just ask Shaq. They're all important.
Yeah.
But, you know, Giants got a win. So that's really, you know, it's nice for the Dem. And, you know, that puts them up to 5 wins for the season. Maybe that, you know, pick them up a little bit and keep them going. But that's my roundup for that game.
Wow. That was amazing roundup, Mark.
Yeah,
I
short and
feel
sweet.
sorry for William Lee. You pulled him out and had a go at him for missing 2 free throws.
No. Look, he did well. He got 15 points. 15 points, 8 rebounds and 3 assists. He did well. But that 15 points, that could have been 18 points easily because he missed 2 just straight off the bat and he missed another one further on. Yeah, everyone's going to miss shots. The beauty of basketball is that no one has a 100% record. It doesn't work that way. It's very much how many you miss and, you know, 40%, 30%, whatever it is. But
in my next game, I'm talking about someone who is 100%.
Oh, no. Why did I say that?
Oh, dear.
But
that's a great segue.
You can't be missing free throws. They're open shots. They're uncontested. No. You shouldn't be missing
them. But
them.
also, you lose a game by 2 points and you miss 2 free throws. Look, he's going to be getting on that bus or, you know, getting back home, and he's going to sit there and go, damn it. I mean, look, any basketball player, you know what it's like. You get home or you're in the car and you're all in the bus, whatever.
Exactly.
And it's already going through your mind like, hang on, if I'd done this, if I'd done that, what is it?
So he's lucky that, like, Evan Walsh was arguably player of the game there. I mean, Wagon was great, and Justin Robinson needs a shout because he's superb for the Scorchers. But they just, even though they were putting in 30 points, 16 points, they just couldn't get over whatever Surrey gave. Manchester just had a bit more. It seemed. It was a really fun game to watch, actually, and I watched that one second. It was even though it was one of the first games in this week, I missed it the first time round, so I actually had to go back and watch it. But yeah, it was a good game, and I really, really liked Manchester's kit with the black kit with the yellow around the outside rather than the yellow kit. I really liked that. I thought it was a cool looking kit. You know, I like the looks of the kit. So yeah, that's my takeaway. Over to you.
What? Go on, Mark. Give me not a long buzzer though. One.
That sort of buzzer.
No, the buzzer I always use. You can tell I'm not in the studio. No, that's the long one. The one above it. There you go.
That's an air horn. That's not a buzzer.
Oh, you know what I meant. Anyway, right, I'm going to be talking about the London Lions and the Plymouth Patriots. So this is, London are the in-form team at the moment, and they're over halfway through their season. There's 20 games in now. Actually, I say that when this game was played, they were then 19 games in. Well, at the end of this game, it was 19 games in. You know, we need to talk about. We need to talk about the man, the legend, the main name that comes on everyone's lips when you say BBL at the moment, and that's the legend Matt Morgan.
Oh.
I can't say it the way I want to say it because I am trying to talk a bit quieter. But he had 27 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals.
Yeah,
Did that come across?
No, that sounds weird. Like really weird.
Oh. You know what? I'm really tempted just to give
Don't do it.
Really tempted
Don't
to
do
give
it. If you wake that
And then the
household,
listeners-
you are not getting on that plane tomorrow.
Yeah, but
Nope.
the
You'll be
listeners
getting in the-
That's what they want.
They'll be putting you on a crate.
The listeners want it though. Oh, I'm so tempted. Oh, I get hit in the back of the head. Anyway, what I liked about one of the stats I loved from Matt Morgan in this game, he and this is going from what you just said, Mark. He was 100% from the free throw line.
Oh,
And he didn't just go once or twice. He was 11 for 11. And, you know,
well,
what a stat. I love
massive
that.
credit.
100%.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what you should be. You are a professional basketball player. How many hours do you spend sitting there throwing them up? That's what we want to see.
Yeah, and you know he is the man to talk about at the moment. Oh man, my stats are all over the frickin' place. I can't find anything. I had a whole page dedicated to the legend Matt Morgan, and I can't find it now. It's come to my turn. What's going on?
Well, that just goes to show how unprepared you are. You still can't find it, can you? Oh, you
No.
monkey. Well,
But he does go to the line a lot. So he's actually scored at 81 points from the line, and his free throw line percentage is 87.1%, and he's second in the league, just behind Jordan Johnson of the Newcastle Eagles. So you know, it was those kind of stats which makes Matt Morgan, you know, the player he is. You also got to talk about you know, he is Mr. Consistent, isn't he? Every game. Damn it, where is it? I've got a number here, but I don't think it's him. I've let him down. I feel like I've let the man down.
You're letting the listeners down. You're letting him down. You're letting me down. And you're letting
It's because we did an NBA show. You made me do an NBA show and this one at the same time. So I've got all these pieces of paper lying around everywhere. Anyway,
2 pieces of
yeah,
paper. Oh,
you know,
heart bleeds.
there was one play I did like from the Plymouth Patriots. Hey, look, Pat Wright's one there. This was at the Copper Box, and Pat Wright's one there. So that's got to be a huge contribution already. I've got a soft spot for Pat. He is a bloody legend. But Elvizi Dusha, I'm going to say with a Mark Jackson-esque move on Taylor, which was really nice. Kind of pumped it up, did this kind of like Euro forward step, 2 points, good. But Josh Sharma, he is again just in the paint. He ended up with 18.7 rebounds, 2 blocks. He's just doing all the dirty work inside.
Yeah.
That's what, just doing all the work inside, and I love those kind of players. You know, just bumping around, knocking, doing a lot of things that I think coaches appreciate, and you know, a lot of the fans just look at points per game and stuff like that. Or you know, those huge highlights, but I just like him as a player, and I wonder how long London can hold on to him. I know that sounds silly.
No,
I
I think that's very valid, because there's been quite a few players that I won't say arguably mid-season at the moment, but that we're at the point of the season that's been going 13 weeks. There have been some changes in rosters. Some people have been let go. They have moved some people across. If someone gets the allure of a big European team, there's big money out there.
Yeah, I think it's possible with him. But again, you can probably say that for quite a few of the London Lion players. But there was a really nice player as well. Got to mention his name, Luke Nelson, Mr. Hustle. I call him every time there's a highlight for London. Luke Nelson's on the bloody floor hustling for it. That's what I like about that's my kind of player. When you're diving on the floor, all the thankless tasks that some players do. That's what I absolutely love. So one of Josh Sharma's highlights was he's just really nice dunk and Shaq-esque where he dunked and just like really hang on the ring, kind of pulled it a bit, which is really good. But Luke Nelson, he was the man on the floor hustling. It wasn't a steal. But he was on the floor, gets the ball, bam, passes to Josh Sharma, boom, dunk, which was great. That was the stat I was looking for. It doesn't feel as magical now. I've built it up so much. But Matt Morgan, he has got 46 3-pointers, second in the league, just behind Cheshire's behind, is it Maceo Jack? So yeah,
just
Matt
butcher
Morgan
someone
is
else's stat.
Yeah. Anyway, look, it's getting late. I'm tired. Good night.
It's not getting late.
No, look. So,
not even 9 o'clock.
We're gonna get into that was the Patriots. London beaten by 7 points.
Yeah.
And I do think, I don't want to say we've been critical of London. It's just that we want that league to be really close at the top, which is why we're kind of rooting for them to lose, which they have too recently. But
well, look,
I feel we're being a little harsh on them.
No, I'll just say
I feel we're being harsh.
Patriots.
And I feel guilty that I'm not really going for it with Matt Morgan going 27 points. I can't shout, so I feel guilty. That's why I'm so tempted to do it and wake the household up. But it won't be worth the aggro.
It's not worth it. It'll be like a scene out of Predator. You'll be hanging upside down and getting skinned. It's worth pointing out the Plymouth City Patriots have only got 2 wins. And one of their wins was against the Lions. They were the first crown denters, I believe. And they got within 7 points. Now, we've seen the Lions actually blow quite a few people out in big numbers. But they were within 7 points and they're bottom of the league. So I quite like that. I thought that was an interesting. How are they? Are they like the not the doppelganger team, but are they that team that they just can't sort of get around for some reason? What is it that makes them stay in? Because there's Matt Morgan and the team putting in good stats, and yet Patriots are still within 7. That's quite impressive.
Yeah. No, they are. And the only thing more impressive than that, Mark, is Matt Morgan's free throw percentage at 87.1.
Yeah, that is.
But also, I'm going to go one step further.
Oh, no.
Gabriel Olaseni is 88.5 free throw percentage. I think that's the top. That's the highest in the league. I think. And Matt Morgan second. But So
but they're shooters.
You know what? I'm just going to carry on going. Give me another air horn, Mark.
Another air horn you want?
The London Lions again. They were at home and they had the Leicester Riders come and play with them.
To come and play with them. Do you want to come over and play?
Anyway, this is the second time these two guys have actually. Oh God, man, it is bedtime, isn't it? Jesus. Anyway, this is the second time these two teams have played. Last time they played was 10 days ago, and they lost by 10. But you know what? We've gone from one Morgan to another Morgan. Connor Morgan with 21.7 rebounds. But again, Josh Sharma, he's just doing all the dirty work inside. 18 points, 7 rebounds. Just another thing, because I really looked at overall stats this week, is, do you know Josh Sharma? Not who I thought it was going to be.
Not personally.
But he's got the highest 2-point percentage in the league. Josh Sharma.
Really?
Yep. 7 players in this game, both teams with 100% free throw percentage mark. I know you'll like that one after your...
Blimey. Oh, I like it. I like that. That's good. That's what it should be. You got an
But
uncontested
you know what?
shot. Come on.
It's very different when you're doing it in a game
I get
under
it.
that
Look,
pressure, though.
Look, I can openly say I will throw every brick up there under the sun, and I might even throw an air ball if I'm doing free throw. I'm not a professional basketball player. I'm not a shooter. But these guys are. They should be doing it. And if you're getting anything under 50%, you suck, and you need to put in more effort. That's it.
Wow. I apologise to all the BBL players on behalf of the podcast.
No. There's no excuse for that. At nothing under 50%, if you're doing free throws, there's no excuse. That's it. Zero excuse.
Well, look, this is a point we've got to talk about. And this is, London just picked up another win, 38. And it looked to me like a terrible quarter for the third quarter for the Riders. It was like between 8 points and 12-point game. Get to the third quarter and they end 28 points down. Yeah, it wasn't the best quarter for them, but you got to talk about the Riders are in feels like absolute freefall at the moment, and they're close to dropping in the bottom 3. And after such a great start to the season, I'm trying to work out what's happened. Just going back, they've lost the last 8 out of 11 games.
Ouch. That's not good.
You can see that those first 5 games, they started great. Lost the last 8 out of last 12. I mean, I can go back through them. Phoenix, loss. London, loss. They beat Manchester.
Yep.
Sheffield, loss. Phoenix, loss. London, loss. They won that huge game in Newcastle.
Yes. The big Newcastle game. That was a big one.
Caledonia, loss. Surrey, they beat them. Newcastle, loss. Manchester, loss. And you've got to argue with, players of the caliber that we're talking. You're talking, some of the best BBL players in recent history. To be looking at the bottom 3, it's like, wow, what's happened?
Yeah, and the Lakers, the Riders as well have got quite a history of winning in recent years. So I have seen a few memes, should we say, on the social medias where people are saying along the lines of a free fall with the Riders, like how far they fall from grace. It's just surprising. You've got a high caliber team that they've got a history of performing well. Where does that suddenly go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And there have been some really close games.
What did it end on?
But 100 to 62.
Oh Jesus!
But when you've got
38
player
point loss.
calibers, but you got players like Kimball McKenzie on your team. It's
You can't be losing.
I'm just surprised.
38 points.
I'm just surprised. 8 in the last 11. 8 in the last 11. But yeah, you know what? Like, I know I'm doing 2 London games, and I do feel a bit harsh for not being as enthusiastic. So I do apologise to London fans.
Well,
I am trying.
How about we do congratulations, London? It's always nice to have winners and losers. So, there we go. Well, speaking of winners and losers, I'm going to do a slightly different segue to our next game. We had an email.
Yeah?
We had an email from a previous, I was almost going to say contestant, a previous guest on the show.
All right. Who is it?
Mr. White. Mr. Keith White. Keith,
legend.
Keith, you get one of these. Mighty brief one. So thank you very much for your email, Keith. And he said,
Did Keith tell you who to support?
well, he said he enjoyed the roundup, and he was getting a few people in the bald eagles and around the eagle's nest to try and listen to the show, which is always appreciated. So thank you anyone or everyone who Keith has mentioned to listen. But
I think with the exception of the Portsmouth Fury,
yes,
the Newcastle Bald Eagles are probably the only other local team we've been talking about.
That is correct. So if you are a local team and you're listening and we haven't mentioned you yet, get in contact with the show and maybe we'll have an interview and we can mention you.
Yeah.
But, segue over, he said he felt bad because his lack of turning up to that show did cause them to lose that game. So he said,
hang on,
you know what?
that means the streak is still going.
No, he said, he said, you know what? I thought I'm going to attend that next game, the game against Bristol, and he'll redeem everything.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That didn't go well for Keith.
So we're saying
the
Flyers,
Flyers,
the streak was over.
the Flyers won
officially
89-71. His streak is officially over. Keith, you could not resuscitate that terrible loss. There's no other way to put it. 18 point. But what was good, if we're going to have a positive, is that the Flyers have now won a couple of road wins, because that's their second one. So congratulations to the Flyers. And more importantly, that flips them up to 4th position. Now, we were just talking about Leicester being in freefall. Bristol were doing the same. And week after week, we kept saying, hang on, they were 2nd. Now they're 3rd. Now they're 4th. Then they went 6th. Now they've gone back up to 4th again. Like, you couldn't, I won't say you can't make it up, but the way in which people keep moving in the table, if we take, I want to say London out of the equation, but everyone keeps moving so much in this table, you think it's up for anyone. Anyone can play. Anyway, onto the game itself. It was a slow start. It was a very slow start. And I watched this one. I don't say hoping Bristol would do well, but it was nice to see their last game and get the encouragement from maybe they found something. They've got a new player in CJ Jackson. He seems to be leading sort of the team and bringing it together a little bit from the Flyers, because they had a few injuries and they've had a few movements in players. So 22-20 was the end of the first quarter. And I won't say you can't get closer than that, but after a slow start to finish on, on 20 odd points, you think, okay, the game's going to pick up a bit. It kind of did until the first half. Nothing really going on there. But I've got to shout at this point to Brad Green, because he was inside and he was the big man there. Absolute mayhem he was causing. Just anyone.
Big man, the great man.
Yeah, anyone who wanted to get in the paint or anywhere near that, he just wasn't having any of it. And I won't say just at both ends, but particularly offensively. He was just, he ended on, 27 points and 14 rebounds. That's what you want a big man to do. So massive respect for him turning out on that. The game was pretty even, and it was a really, this is worth watching, because Newcastle are a great caliber team, and so are the Bristol at their cores, but they've both had a few blips along the way. Fourth quarter, completely flipped on it. Absolutely flipped, because it was at one point you thought Newcastle were going to take this. And in the fourth quarter, they went 26-10. Bristol just outscored them completely. And that's exactly what Keith put. Except Keith went a little bit controversial, and I thought you'd quite like this. It was a close game until the fourth quarter, and from that point of the game, it was decided by the referees.
Wow.
What a little slap in there from Keith. He wasn't happy with the refs calling. I won't say, can't say I agree or disagree, but there were definitely some key calls by the refs that changed the pace of the game, I think. I don't have personally the knowledge to say whether I think the calls were right or not, but they did change that pace of the game. And as we know, sometimes if you've got momentum and then someone's trying to break it, if you're on a 26-10 run, you've not only are you stopping the other team getting points, but you'll keep racking them up as well. And they can't get their momentum back. They're never going to catch you. So I think maybe that's where Keith was going with it, but still, it was a great game. So for me, that was my game of the week. I really, really enjoyed watching that.
I think if Keith has said that, the referees are a disgrace.
Yeah, so thank you for the email, Keith.
He knows his basketball.
He does know his basketball.
He knows his basketball. That He has seen something,
But
and
the-
he's there.
the-
When you're there, you see.
But the
things as
Flyers,
well, don't you?
they flew in and then they flew back out with a win. So that's taken them up to 4th place. So that's it. That's really interesting. They got them, Sheffield Sharks and Eagles. They're all and Caledonia. They're all sitting around these really, really close numbers together, like within a 1 or 2 wins from each other. So over to you. Who you got?
Yeah, give me a buzzer.
Give you
me
a buzzer.
No, actually, I want an applause now. Not a buzzer. See, I'm normally there, so I can do what I want to do. Give me an applause for the Cheshire Phoenix.
There we go.
Consistency is the word I'd use for the Cheshire Phoenix. They took on the Sheffield Sharks at the Shark Tank, and they got 104-85 win. And you got to be talking about, Ethan Charjosh.
Wow.
The impact he had on tonight's game. Sorry, not tonight's game. When was it? When was it?
It was the 10th.
The 10th. Bloody hell. Anyway, the impact he had, 16 points, 14 rebounds. He gets his double-double. He's also got 6 assists as well. It's just looking at the stats as well for the Cheshire Phoenix. Got me here. LaQuincy, how did you say his name? Is it Rideau?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Quincy Rideau, again, he is Mr. Consistent. I'm going to come back to him in a second. But, Aaron Ray, 17 points, 6 rebounds. Jalen Pipkins, he is one of my favourite players in the league. Yeah, he chipped in with 16 points. You've got to talk about Nixon. He had 20 points as well. But Ethan Charjosh and the Quincy Rideau. No, what did I say? Rideau.
Yeah.
Now, let me just... This game in particular, your man of the match is Ethan. However, Quincy Rideau, 24 points he got in this game. That was the most points anyone scored in this game. He got 7 rebounds. That is the second highest amount of rebounds that anyone got in this game. He got 7 assists. Second most highest amount of assists that anyone else got in this game. You've got to say he's also got more assists than anyone else in the league. And I think steals as well. I want to say he's got more steals than anyone. I've got another stat that I know will bring a smile to your face when talking about him. He's also got the most fouls than any other player in the entire league.
Yes.
That is my kind of player.
Yeah, 100%.
That is my kind of player. I have got a little segue coming up for that, but I'll come back. Look, Cheshire seem to be on fire. I suppose those guys and the Gladiators are the ones who are keeping the pressure on the London Lions. The Lions only need to make one more mistake and have another dent in that crown, and then you're looking at Cheshire and Phoenix. The Cheshire Phoenix and the Caledonia Gladiators. You're only one game away from tying.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you got to also take in consideration is London have actually played 20 games at the moment, whereas the other...
Oh, yeah, so I think it's 3 or 4
And
ahead,
the others,
aren't they?
they're 3 or 4 ahead. The only team that they're not 3 or 4 ahead of is actually Bristol, that's 1 ahead. But everyone else, they're pretty much 3 ahead on Cheshire and 4 ahead for Caledonia. So
I've said this many times before. Personally, I'd rather have you want the points in the bag. You'd rather have the games played, I think, at this stage. Like you said, there's a little bit of conjecture. Who knows what might happen in those 3 games for Cheshire, 4 games for the Caledonia. However, this Friday, Mark, I know you're going to be watching it live because the London Lions are back in the copper box.
yeah,
Taking on the Cheshire Phoenix.
yeah,
That is a big one.
that's a big game. That's a big game.
If Cheshire can take something away from the copper box, then I will eat my hat and take that trophy, championship trophy, away from the Londons and say the league's back on.
If they win, say they win 3 games, and one of which being that London game, if they win 3 games, that's going to put them up to 30 points, and London won't get any more points, then that will bring them within 4 points of London. It's wide open again.
Yeah, well, I think if they win all their games in hand, which includes going up against London, I think they're only 2 points away. Fairly sure. I could be wrong.
But they're 3 games behind.
Yeah, what I'm saying, if they win those 3 games, and one of those 3 games will be London, but obviously London are going to be playing as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, but they're 34. London are on 34. They're on, and that would take them up to 30, I think. Unless I've got it totally wrong.
But don't forget, London will be playing, and if London lose one of those games, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
well, they're on 24.
Cheshire
on 24 at the moment. You get 2 points for a win. So 3 wins is at 6 points. That gives you the 30. So they're still 2 wins away.
Okay.
But regardless of that, terrible man maths on both our parts.
No. I know why it makes sense. Because once this game's played, London will be on 21.
Yes. Correct.
That's what makes that's why it will be 4 points.
Yes.
So you're right, but it'll be 21 games. That makes more sense.
And then you're right.
So yeah. So we're kind of both right there.
That's man maths.
I was thinking
perfect.
I think we're agreeing with each other here. I'm not sure. So yeah, I do have a soft spot for the Sheffield Sharks. I love are they the ones that have the grey kit?
Mm-hmm.
I think they do. Mm-hmm. I love the grey kit. Jalen Pipkins, he's one of my favourite players as well. But just moving on to another segue, Mark, because it ties in lovely.
Yes.
And this is my last probably BBL stat of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm going away, obviously, if you haven't worked that out, I'm going away on holiday. I'll still be talking on the podcast, but So most fouls so far in the league.
Yep.
Number 1, LaQuincy Rideau.
Perfect.
64 fouls.
Jeez.
Beautiful fouls.
How many does it say ejections then, or just
no? I don't know.
I was just wondering
how it's split.
Is he just using his quota?
Number 2, Jordan Johnson with 60 fouls.
Blimey.
That's Newcastle Eagles. And then 3rd is Austin Lawton with 56 fouls. Who's he play for? Is it Cheshire? No. Oh my God. I wrote that down. I've lost it.
This is not your day for reading your own writing, is it?
No. Who's Austin Lawton play for?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, this is embarrassing today, Mark. I'm letting myself down. I'm letting the show down tonight. Well, let me put it in a bit of perspective for you.
Manchester
when I
Giants.
Manchester. Of course it is. Of course it is. Let me put this in perspective. So when I say 64 fouls, you say, holy sugar plums.
Yep.
3.8 fouls per game.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, is that there's a few ejections in there, or is that he's just...
Yeah, I don't know.
He uses 3 or 4 a game, and he's clever about it, how he uses them.
Jordan Johnson and Austin Lawton with 3.3 fouls per game. Yeah. Average at the moment. But
so still
when
under
you say
you
it like that, it's you what?
Still under your stats then.
Yeah, I used to get fouled out quite a lot, but I didn't play in the BBL. If I played in the BBL, I'd have got fouled out. I'd have been fouled out every single game.
Yeah, they'd be bidding you straight off. No, you're going to get us 10 team fouls. Get out.
I'd be like, coach, let me get the whole season getting chucked out of every game, every foul, every game.
Right. Well, we've got one more game left. So that's a nice segue, seeing as you mentioned one of the nice foulers. And he actually plays for Manchester Giants, who were playing against Caledonia. In Caledonia. And the result...
Well, they've only lost one. They've only lost one this season.
Caledonia?
At home. Caledonia. They've only lost one at home.
Yeah. And that crown's not getting dented anytime soon, because congratulations to Caledonia. They won that match. Now, I will say that was a much closer game than you would think it would be. Where you see Caledonia, they're in 3rd. They have been vying for 2nd. And then when you see Manchester at the bottom and 9th, it's kind of that same thing again with the Plymouth and the Lions. You would expect there's a big enough difference in the league. They're going to get sort of slammed here. 86-80. That was it. And I actually took quite a few notes on this game because that's how developed it was. They were missing their sort of, Caledonia were missing like Farrow in their centre, which is actually, he's quite a big player for those who haven't watched them play. And he's been quite key in, I guess, just sort of keeping, not just keeping the defence at bay, but keeping kind of that structure in the team. And as a big guy, to not have him playing for injury, they actually got Trent Buttrick in. And he stepped up to do the job. And he was absolutely superb. He ended up with like 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists. And he just did exactly what he needed to do. And if you're coming in as a player replacing someone who's injured, you've got to think, there's actually quite a lot of pressure on you. Superb, absolutely superb performance. However, Caledonia are quite well known for Patrick Whelan leading the way, putting in the points. He couldn't get anything. 0 points in the first half. Couldn't get anything to drop. And the Gladiators were up 44-38. So it's only a 6-point lead. But to have one of your main scorers literally get nothing, 0, in the first half. Wow. Yeah, you've got to be thinking, and as a player, that must be sitting in your head like, I've literally been on the court the whole time. My job is literally to score. I'm getting nothing. That must have really, really been eating him. Then the third quarter, the Giants came out. They were fighting really hard. They gained the lead and ended up just like forward and backward right in that third quarter. And the Gladiators just took a 2-point lead at the end of the third. But that third quarter arguably was probably there was like 2 games that went on. The first half of the game, it was all right. But it was the second half of the game. It just exploded. So not only did the Giants come out fighting and brought it back in to a 2-point game, in the fourth quarter, Whelan just went off and just started stretching the lead. And then the Giants came back fighting to pick it up. And what am I going to say again? You're going to like... I've just realised I've written it down again and it sounds really harsh. My actual things were free throws was a big factor once again. William Lee missed 1 of 2, but Whelan hit both of his and they were at the same crucial time, which helped extend that lead and help. And then what happened was there was a big 3 by Whelan, followed by Buttrick stretched the lead further to a 6-point, and then they just kept it. And I mean, I'm not going to say free throws were the only factor here, but there was a lot of people having bad shooting days. You know, you think the main guard for the Caledonia couldn't get a point in the first half. It was that kind of game. Looked kind of frustrating from the players. But to see someone do, there was a turnover. I'm sorry, I've just got my note there. There was Anderson turned it over. That definitely didn't help because I won't say they had the most effective offense that night with the Giants, but if they could have got back to a 4-point game, I don't know, maybe they could have forced something else. But yeah, having a possession and a turnover, that's in your 6 points down. That's game. You're forgetting that. But again, with the free throws, I don't know why I've got a bugbear about it, because I guess I think of it as Mick. If you mixed a free throw,
Mickey Byrne,
he would just be down your neck, because it's like that's a fundamental. Or they'd be shouting things like uncontested shot, or all sorts of stuff like that.
Free throws win games. That's what you say. Free throws win games.
And it's true, isn't it? It is an uncontested shot. It is a pressure shot, and where you stand, it is quite a difficult. But at the same time, you can't. It is an uncontested shot at the end of the day. So if you're within 2 to 4 or 4 points, and then you're missing free throws and you're the losing team at the moment, it's like that could have changed. Even if it's only 1 point, even if you've only got the and one, that one could just change our momentum. It's just breaking that connection. It means also that you're not 2 points clear, you're actually in 1 point clear. And then if you hit that 3, you're ahead. You know, I don't know.
Mark, I've got a soft spot for the Manchester Giants. Can I make a statement on behalf of all Manchester Giants fans?
Mm-hmm. Do it.
They did not lose the game. They just ran out of time. Fact.
I would have said if that had carried on a bit longer, Giants might have got back into it. And maybe if you go the other way, if the game had ended earlier, I think the Giants would have had it as well. If Whelan hadn't picked up in that fourth quarter, that was game over for them, really. I mean, William Lee, I said he missed some shots. He still ended on 16 points. Jamal Anderson on 14, Whelan on 16, and Trent Buttrick on 17. But other than that, the points were kind of, Trent was the best on the night, purely because he came into a role to do something in a replacement. And I think that's, you couldn't have asked anyone to do better than he did, given the position he was in. Whereas Whelan, he didn't score anything in the first half. In the second half, he scored 16. Arguably...
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Oh, he will, 100%. But if he'd have added...
He'll be back stronger.
I don't know, maybe if he'd have added in 5 or 6 in the first half, it'd have maybe taken that pressure off, and then he wouldn't have got the extras. And you could argue that the pressure was... you said you saw Kobe before, and the first 3 quarters you thought, it's nothing to write home about. And then fourth quarter, he just went manic and scored like 20 points or something. So,
in fairness to Kobe, he did, when I thought, he's doing all right. He's all right. He's not that great. He had scored 20, 24, 26 points by that point.
Yeah, it's just very
efficient. He's all right. And I looked up and I was like, holy crap, he's actually scored 26 points.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like he'd scored 26 points. But then he literally, I think he had 24 points and he doubled his total score.
Yeah.
Got 24 points in the fourth quarter alone.
That was
game time, innit?
That's the Kevin Garnett thing where he always talks about Tim Duncan, I think, and he was like, he used to hate him because he couldn't wind him up and he couldn't talk anything bad to him. And he'd be like, what's Tim Duncan been doing all game? And looked up and be like, why is he on 25 points? Like, he hasn't done anything. It's like, yeah, he's just efficient and he's slow and he just gets it done. But yeah, I thought it was a good week for the games to watch. And if anyone doesn't watch them and doesn't watch them live, I don't watch them live. But
you suck.
Well, it's just a bad time for me to watch them, to be honest. I'm my dad, got to do the dad duties. But I do watch it on YouTube. And I will say that I think the coverage has actually improved a little bit from the beginning of the season. So I don't know if they've made some changes in the back or what they've been doing or lighting or something, but the coverage of some of the games has definitely improved as the weeks are going on. And all the highlights that they do are really, really good. But again...
I'm just not a fan of the adverts on YouTube. That's why I don't like...
No.
You're watching a play, someone's just about to drive in and dunk it. It's like, hey, let's talk about Manscaped. That's what you can see. What? I just missed some huge dunk.
Yeah, that is not really excusable. If you've got it on Sky and you've got places like that, I guess they can't do anything with paid or different networks. I'm sure there's licensing things and all sorts. So if this is the way to get...
They had a Sky basketball.
Well, they do.
Or Sky Sports Arena. I know you have that, but... most of the Sky Sports coverage is on YouTube. It'd be nice to have it on like the NBA where you can have season pass and stuff like that.
I don't think
maybe on Sky Sports.
Maybe I'm naive, but I can't think it would be too difficult to serve up the media yourself and just have your own app, and that way you can see how many people actually tune in. I understand using YouTube's great because you can get other people who aren't watching to maybe stumble upon it, but if you actually look at the figures of how many people view on YouTube, the numbers are pretty low, which is I think surprising. I think there's way more people who would enjoy watching it, but they just don't know where to look or they're not finding it. So I don't necessarily think it's the content. I don't think it's the quality, but there's a disconnect between people who like basketball and people who would appreciate watching BBL there's a disconnect between there somehow, and they need to find how to reach that.
It'd be interesting what the marketing budget is.
Yeah, it's yeah.
And again, when someone says, "Yeah, we're a big sponsor," we're just going to put this on YouTube. Think, okay, put it on one of the channels, have it on Sky Sports Arena or Sky Sports.
Yeah.
These look, this game coming up on Friday. You got London Lions at home to Cheshire Phoenix. If Cheshire win, this is a game changer.
It's changing the
top
league
of the BBL.
Yeah, it's going to change the league.
You could argue, if this was football, it would be Sky Sports 1 prime time.
Yeah.
Or Sky Sports Premier, whatever it all is now, I don't know. But yeah.
There's a strange disconnect in the UK, and we can't quite work out what that is. We've looked around and some stuff, and I'm still digging on it. But there's definitely a disconnect between why the sport isn't being held out more, even though there's all these people playing it. There's all these professional teams, semi-professional teams, Sunday league teams, youth teams, FIBA teams, so popular in the country, yet for some reason the exposure and the money doesn't sit there. I can't work out why.
Yeah,
there'll be a reason. If you know,
well, moving on, Mark,
contact us on the show. UK Basketball Podcast. Let us know
at gmail.com.
That's right.
Moving on, Mark. I know as we round up, can I do a personal shout out?
Oh, blimey. Yes.
I'd like to do a personal shout out to the legend, the only number one mascot in the world, which is the Orlando Magic Stuff
the Magic Dragon.
He commented, was it a comment or a like or something on the Instagram?
Yeah. I can't remember now. I'll have to go and look at it.
There's a connection. You need to email him, message him right back,
Magic Dragon.
Say, get on the show.
I think someone was saying something about the NBA.
Send us a signed picture.
I just said Stuff's the GOAT, and he's like, yeah, I love that. Sent us a personal thing with a thumbs up.
Stuff,
love it.
Is the GOAT.
He is the GOAT of all the mascots. It's not just the way he looks.
Easily.
It's the attitude. It's everything. Absolutely.
You know
brilliant.
what? I don't know the guy's name, but this is just my personal opinion on it. But Stuff is the best mascot you can have. Up there as well, probably second or third, is a baseball mascot, which is the Phillies mascot.
Isn't that who he's based on?
It is who he's based on because the two mascots were created by the same person. So I don't know what that guy's name is, but whoever that is, he's created two of the best mascots in history. But obviously, Orlando Magic Stuff is number one.
I can give you a tenuous link here, and I'll see if I can show you this picture. You might be able to see it on the camera. But
oh yeah,
that's the guy at the Buzzer UK who do jerseys, etc. But he went and actually watched. He was over in the Magic and actually watched the game over there. And I actually said to him, "Did you check out the mascot?" And he's like, "That is entertainment." Right, his words were, "It was so entertaining from start to finish, and the mascot's hilarious, doing impressive things, and it was great memories." And you look at that and you go, "That is what a game is about. It's not we're just going to watch a sports team. There's so much more in it." I know we've said it when we were talking about the Portsmouth Force, and we've said it in other podcasts before, but there's something about, and the BBL games have that. There's that energy, isn't there? And you see the games and you see everyone's getting excited and the crowds are really shouting and everything. So I don't know. It'd be lovely to see more people getting involved in it and there's a bit more coverage.
Well, the GOAT debate, people need to bring Orlando Magic Stuff in that debate.
No, he's not. He is the GOAT. That's it. The end.
He is the GOAT. Right.
Well,
great show.
That was a great show. Now, our show will be ever so slightly different for a week or two. It'll be strange because Paul's decided
for
that
2.5 weeks.
Going to get on and go on holiday. He's going to be strange for 2.5 weeks. He's going on holiday. We've got a few episodes in the bag, so they'll be coming out as well. But for the BBL updates, you might find our audio will be a little bit different, but it will return to normal in the new year. And we will have.
I will phone in from the other side of the world.
He's going to phone in from the other side of the world in his flip flops, with his handbag, his sun cream, under his towel, like a true Englishman burning in the sun.
Hey, I'll see if I can do some, like, I don't know, I'll try and do some, like, maybe live commentary or something of the Adelaide 36ers game. I'm going to go and see one or maybe two over there. I don't know, we'll see. But I've got one, so yeah, that'll be an experience. And based from what I've seen, I think the Australian level of the sport is in between the BBL and America. That's kind of how it comes across.
Oh, okay.
So when I say BBL, I'm really saying London. So it will be bigger than London, but less than the NBA. That's what I'm from what I've seen from photos and stuff. But we'll see. But I will share, and
So
we'll get
basically,
we'll get an Australian update. So yeah,
an Australian update, and you will be obviously taking a sticker over and placing it in a suitably amazing position to take a photo.
Oh, I've only got 2 stickers, and I wanted to put one on my phone, but yes, I can do that.
Put it on your phone. Well, just don't stick it. Just take one and just hold it, and then you can put it somewhere, and then you can move that
All right,
around.
I'll see if I can
You
get
got to put
it
your on your phone
in the Adelaide 36ers arena, and then we can tag it when I'm back in the UK.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, have a great holiday, mate, and we will all see you next time as our next update for the BBL will be in the following week. And we got some interesting games coming up, as Paul mentioned. So go check them out. They'll be starting on Thursday. And we will see you next week. So until then, I hope you all have a fantastic time. Thank you very much for joining us. If you haven't listened to all our shows previously, go back and have a listen to them. We have got 47 shows out now. This is getting ridiculous. We've got like 30,000 people listening. Don't know why, but thank you so much. If you want to contact us, contact the show on our emails, ukbasketballpodcast@gmail.com, or go to our Instagram and check us out there. I've been Mark.
I have been Paul, and you said 30,000 people listening. I reckon you could divide that by 10,000, and that will be the total amount of people who play badminton in the UK. Fact.